What does making sales social mean to you?
I think it's the power to build relationships in real life and online in a very integrated way. There's not two ways to behave or act. It's all one, and it should come across in your relationships that you have personally and the relationships that you develop online. It's the relationship that makes it social work.
Welcome to the Making Sales Social podcast, featuring the top voices in sales and marketing. Join hosts Bryn Tillman and Bill McCormick as they discuss the best tips and strategies they are teaching their clients so you can leverage them for your own virtual and social selling. Here are your hosts, Bryn Tillman and Bill McCormick.
Hey everyone, welcome to Making Sales Social. I'm Bill McCormick.
I'm Bryn Tillman.
So Bryn, who's joining us today?
One of my in-person friends. I love this. This has been 4 years since we've met. Keith Reynolds. I met him through an introduction through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn works, and learned his perspective on content in a way that I have never heard it from any other marketer out there. And I was fortunate enough, he brought me into Manhattan and I did a presentation for his group, and we've stayed connected. And I am just so excited because, content is the heart of social selling. Thought leadership is how we show up with credibility. And so I can't wait for the insights that Keith's going to share. Keith, hello and welcome. Tell everyone a little bit about you.
Yeah, hi. So I am the founder of a company called Publio, and we're a content strategy and development organization. We help companies use collaborative tools and techniques to empower those who are innovators that are seeking to build influence in their space, differentiate themselves from the pack, and grow their business.
Love to talk about how we can differentiate ourselves. But before we get to that, Keith, we ask every guest one question at the beginning of each episode, and it is, what does making sales social mean to you?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it's the power to build relationships in real life and online in a very integrated way. There's not two ways to behave or act. It's all one, and it should come across in your relationships that you have personally and the relationships that you develop online. And, Bryn, you mentioned we met on LinkedIn, and 4 years go by. I think we've had a couple interactions, and then now you've got Clubhouse popping up all over the place. I think we were playing with Blab, as a matter of fact.
I know.
Right? And now it's Clubhouse, and my phone a week or two, I guess 2 weeks ago, said Bryn's online, and I jumped into the room, and here we are being social again. So, it's the relationship that makes it social work.
Absolutely. I was so excited to see your name. So it's great.
So you guys haven't talked for 4 years, but it's really only 3 because 2020 doesn't count. So we're just gonna erase that and take that away. So I understand, Keith, you have these buckets. So talk to me about the buckets. What's the deal with the buckets?
Yeah, that's how I keep things organized in my brain, my crazy ADD brain. But so I built a big website that was not sales oriented. It was a top of funnel thought leadership piece for Kodak. In building it, we filled the sales funnel with $57 million worth of business by creating a magazine. And we called it Chief Packaging Officer. And we invested in thought leading content about the packaging industry. And we attracted and grew our database from 8 to 16,000 people. And when we went into our second year, we were told your services aren't needed anymore because we just sold the division that you're working for. And what it turned out was that the division that was sold in the negotiations, they wanted to purchase the online media, the content hub, in addition to the company, because they knew that's what generated the sales. So that company has now been purchased, and Chief Packaging Officer still up and running. This stuff works. So out of that, I started doing some public speaking and talking about the 7 buckets that you need. So you need to have a North Star idea that connects with your audience. You need to have an editorial strategy and an editorial calendar so that you're planning your content out over the long term. You can budget for it. You can assign resources for it. It's basically the core of your content machine. You need to publish and distribute that content on social media and through email. And you also need to distribute it through community and events. But I make that something different than posting on social media, because when you're out meeting with people, it's also a really great way to connect with them and have a source of content. Then you need marketing automation, like, I'm a big HubSpot, SharpSpring advocate, those kinds of products, Marketo, Acton. All of those are really become the way that you deliver content, but also through landing pages and email and social, but also because you're aggregating everything on a platform, it becomes your reporting and analysis tool. It's how you create a closed loop system to be able to manage that great unwashed audience to traffic to proposals to sales, right? And if you set up your marketing automation correctly, it just sets you up to do the monthly and quarterly analysis, so you're always improving. Then you need to have a sales model. I think this is one of the things that really differentiates Publio, working content into your sales team, helping them understand what's on your content hub, helping them learn how to share it with confidence and what to say about it, so they become the thought leaders too, right? And not just become an order taker, but we really want to build that confidence within the sales team and extend the content so that it's in the CRM and easy to share, so that it's they know how to handle inbound leads and what questions to ask. Then how that, when someone comes in from a piece of content, there's a script that you can run off of that's different than if it was from a second piece of content. So there's a lot of contextual cues that salespeople can use. And this doesn't happen automatically. So it really is a partnership with our sales team, even to the point of putting embedded links in a PDF so that we can track what's going on and see how they're sharing and see, the secondary and tertiary effects, so that they get real information out of content and it helps them do their job. And the last bucket is an ROI model. You've got to be able to go upstairs, talk to the C-suite. You've got to tell them, this is the value proposition.
I love that. And we think we resonate with the sales piece.
Tell me, I don't understand this marketing and sales working together. The totally foreign concept to me. I need an.
We must be dreaming.
Help me.
I'm the marketing guy from heaven coming down.
Definitely, you definitely are. Talk a little bit about how this plays out. Give us a real life example, if you can, of taking us through this process of how this plays out.
It's understanding the sales process. I've set up a lot of CRMs. I am a sales guy and I'm a marketing guy. So I've worn both hats. And in setting up a CRM,
So you are an alien.
Yeah, I'm an alien. Yeah. Just as an aside, I was IBM's first collegiate rep demonstrating personal computers in college bookstores. I was hired to help write the manual, and then I became a collegiate rep, in painter's pants and a rugby shirt in the 1980s, saying, this is a personal computer. It has a spreadsheet.
That's awesome.
I had painter's pants.
So
I still do.
Didn't wear the rugby shirt.
So, but no, sales is really important because that's what we're all doing this for, right? And if we don't have salespeople that are on board and really understand it, and when you have that alignment between sales and marketing, it's beautiful, right? And so sometimes it starts out in a contentious way. Hey, marketing, you never give us any leads. What are you talking about? We sent you all those leads. Oh, those leads were crap. Well, did you call them? No. All right, so let's work together and let's get through. Or, if they're crap, tell me why they're crap. We'll try and go get different leads for you, right? So it's that iterative process that I think is really important when you're writing and producing videos, white papers, all those things. You want to test it and have your sales team in from the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. Helping with the development of that, to sharing it and getting some feedback from customers early on. It's not like we're running out to a printer these days and running 100,000 copies, right? We can make a PDF and test it. And our sales people are really great partners for that kind of thing. Like I said, understanding the sales process and mapping out, here in the first stage of our conversation, if the salesperson says, I'd really love to have a white paper, let's write a white paper.
So I want to ask you this, so there are some things, there's content that is about our company and that helps people understand our products and services. And then there's content that's truly a resource and insights, and they're used at different places, right, in the sales journey.
Yeah.
What I'd love to hear is like, what is the content that you believe will start a first conversation?
If you're introducing something new, introducing a different way, right? If you're, you have to get to what is it that the product makes the customer's life better. And then write some content that really helps make that point.
So you do think product content up front is okay? Or do you think other insights?
No, it's like you need to get above the product solution and talk about how life is better.
Yeah.
Right. And what it would be like if life was better. You would have save lots of money or increase your sales or improve your quality. And so you can write a whole piece on improving your quality, and the end point of that thought leadership of quality improvement could be that our product is actually really helpful to customers to do that.
99% of that. So we call that vendor agnostic content. Call that content that is valuable even if they never talk to you.
So I'm a big believer in that your whole content hub should be branded. You don't want to have the word blog on your website. Give it a name.
Like why?
Like if you go to my website, it's called The Hub because I'm helping companies create content hubs. The content within that branded content hub should look and feel, if you're in a B2B space, like an industry magazine. Like you're literally competing against the trade magazines in your market space with the quality of the content. And yet it can be your VP of sales or your president and CEO that's the one that's getting the byline on the article, even though, we all have writers that write for us, right? But we can, just as our executives go out to trade shows and they get the fireside chat or they do the keynote speech, you can also now have a media property that's as competitive as anything you'd get from the trade press. And, again, that's why when Kodak sold the division, they wanted chief packaging officer. There were over 100 articles and thought pieces and interviews with industry executives that all, made this really rich content. And every piece of content, the design has changed very much, but it was very much designed in the HubSpot, funnel, get everybody to draw them in. And it was very well designed. So we had a lot of conversions off of that. And yet it positioned us like a thought leader. And oh, by the way, Google loves you too.
Yeah. So one of the things we just started doing is creating the influencer of the week. So going out to the sales world and identifying people that are making an impact. So I think that sounds a little bit about like what you're talking about. But you're talking about the quality of the content is like magnificent. It's not just a blog.
Correct.
And it's put in a place that's not just the blog page. On our website, we have that brand, but you think about our members area, we have the content library. So that's kind of branded in that way that it's a place.
Yeah, that's private though, not SEO.
True. It is. I want to, so a lot of the folks listening to this are part of organizations. They don't have control over whether they can get marketing to talk to sales or, or to have a hub. Right. What they're concerned with is creating content and getting content into people's hands. I'm curious about one of the buckets you talked about was events and getting content into people's hands at events. People aren't having events now. How are you having folks get content into people's hands at virtual events? Is that working for you?
So one of the things I do is I'm on the board of Stanford Innovation Week, which is a festival of ideas, kind of, we call it North by Northeast. Kind of.
Oh, I love it.
That's great.
They only had 300 people at their first event at South by Southwest. So we had more than that in our first, but we've got a long way to grow to become that. But it celebrates the talent that we have locally and then the network we have globally. and we bring thought leaders together once a year in the fall. So it's attending events, it's doing speaking on events, it's putting yourself out there as a public speaker, because everybody's content hungry. I mean, that's, I think, one of the things, even if you're the salesperson in your example, Bill, where they don't have control of the marketing budget, they're not determining what is being created at a company-wide level, but every salesperson can have their own content plan. So they know what content that is corporate that they can use. They also scan industry press and find things to share with customers. And then you can do things like live video on LinkedIn and just do a 2-minute thing. Hey, I'm at a coffee shop and, sitting outdoors, and I'm just was thinking about XYZ. And, your marketing automation platform is LinkedIn for in this case. So it really, it's a scalable idea. In fact, all 7 buckets work for you as an individual as well as they do for a big company.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Fred Diamond said a few weeks ago when he was on, you are the president of your brand. You are the president of you and what you have to put out there. And so for all the salespeople that are listening, rather than pointing the fingers at your sales leadership because they're not providing the right training, or to your marketing department because they're not providing the right content or the best kind of content, you really have to grab hold of it, grab those 7 buckets and start carrying them to the well and filling them up and working on your own content. So in your experience as a marketer, what content are you seeing right now that's getting the most views, the most ROI?
I think it's, content that helps you learn how to is it's very practical that you can use. It's, shareable on LinkedIn. I think that if you're able to take a big problem and summarize the how to solve it and the why, and answer the why within that, I think that's very successful for a sales kind of relationship.
I love that. What about the medium? Is it video? Is it white papers? Is it PDFs, ebooks? What's the medium that's really working right now?
I think the most successful content marketers are organizations that come up with a calendar and then really exploit all of those mediums, right? Mm-hmm. So that there is a white paper, and then you interview the CEO who talks about the new, white paper. And then there's a blog post about the white paper. And then that blog post is posted on social and given out to all the salespeople to share. So you get benefit from concentrating efforts. If you just put it out there, it's left to accident.
What's your favorite to start with? We start with video and then transcribe that and create everything out of video. But what's your favorite to start
I've been doing that a lot lately because of Zoom. But my go-to is a white paper ebook. Like I create, probably the reason I've transitioned more or gravitated more to the marketing side is that I love to write, and writing is a way to figure out so you can test and see what messaging's working. So I'll write a really sloppy document in the beginning, and then I collaborate with people and I get something that's really tight. And then that becomes a blog post, that becomes an ebook, that becomes a video. And the themes, so I've been creating content around the same ideas now for 4 years, since I put my book up on Amazon. Actually, before I put the book up on Amazon, and it's always the same ideas, just found many ways to express it. I think that's when you get something that's thematically good, you want to continue to build it. Now, in a bigger company, you'll have several, right? Your small company like mine, I have one, and I just stay in my lane.
It's interesting. I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but I heard an interview with Billy Joel, and he talked about how he'd write his music first and then his lyrics. And I went, that's crazy. I would have written the lyrics first and then the music. What? And so I think some of what I'm hearing is everyone's going to do it differently based on what makes most sense for their brain and the way they do that.
That's fascinating.
Start with one thing and have a plan on how to leverage that one thing to get out to everybody.
Yes.
So I've got a practical question, because I know the questions that we get, and it's what I wonder. Is there an average size for an ebook, like number of pages, that's kind of the sweet spot?
Well, let's see. So my book is 100 pages on Amazon, and I I purposely said I want it to be 100 pages, no more. And we brought it in, even with all the filler pages, it's at 100 pages. And somebody told me it's a quick Saturday morning read. And now I'm making a derivative of that. And I think it's going to be about 20 pages. And it's just around owning your media. So we've taken the material out of the 100-page book. We're making I don't know, I'm not done yet, but a 20, 30-page book in that range. And it's going to be a lot more open and have a lot more pictures around it. From that, I want to make a video, right? But that's just, again, this idea of continuing to mine your media.
And so what is the name of your book?
Thanks for asking. It's called The New Content Culture. It is available as Kindle, and it's also available in hard copy.
All right, and we will put a link in the show notes for that for you for sure. We're just about out of time here. How can folks stay in touch with you and connect with you?
Yeah, so the book on Amazon, you can Google Keith Reynolds and The New Content Culture. That'll get you right there. Also, my website is Publio, PUBLI.io. And you can download a free ROI calculator that has a budgeting sheet and then a sales funnel sheet. And the goal is to figure out every company has a different business model around content. And this is to help you figure yours out.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Keith, for being on Making Sales Social. Thanks to all of our listeners that come every week. Thanks. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, and join us again for more special guest instructors bringing you marketing, sales training, and social selling strategies that will set you apart. Don't forget to subscribe to get the latest episodes from the Making Sales Social podcast. Leave a review down below. Tell us what you think, what you learned, and what you want to hear from us next. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. Visit our website, socialsaleslink.com, for more information.